Welcome back to the Beepzz Buzz, where we spotlight the people shaping the future of automotive, mobility, and motorsport. Our guest today is Mayer Deonarine, a 16-year-old racer already turning heads in the motorsport world. But more importantly, he's building something bigger than just lap times. He's building a story, a reputation, and a platform. All right, Mayer, thank you for coming on today. We're super excited to have you. I just want to start off by asking you about your journey. What got you excited about motorsports? You're on the international scale when it comes to racing, on the way to F1. Talk to us about what brought you here, what excites you about this, and the opportunities that lie ahead.
Yeah, so I was actually playing baseball with one of my friends, and he invited me out to a local karting track up in Uxbridge, and I went up there. I started doing like rental karts, which is what you usually start in or your first time to go in a go-kart. And then eventually I said, okay, I feel like this is pretty cool. I'm going pretty fast, and I'm controlling this go-kart by myself at 9 years old. So we moved up into some kind of a local championship. I'm still where it's their go-karts, and you just come to the track. I mean, you go out, you have some fun at races, just local nights. And I was doing really well. So the owner of the track said, let's put you in a faster go-kart and see what you can do. So I got in that faster go-kart. I think it was about 60 or 70 kilometers an hour. And I started doing really, really well. I think I got about 3 laps in before my dad ran out on track though and said, no, this is not happening. Because again, I was only 9 years old at the time. And then the year after that, we went into more of a national championship series. So we had our own go-karts, we had our own equipment, and I did really, really well. I think I got a couple podiums and maybe 1 win throughout that championship. And then the season after that, we went to the US and we raced there for about 2 years. And at the same time, I was doing some stuff in Canada, and I became national champion. I think at 12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So it was something that was really big for me. And then the last 2 years of karting, I went to Europe, which is usually where you go for your last 2 years and you become really good. Everybody over there is on a really different level. They're constantly on track, even when it's raining. Like it's just a different atmosphere. And then I moved into a prototype championship. So it's called a Radical. That's basically a sports car with no windshield and roof and a big rear wing. And then I did that in North America for a year. And then now I'm racing last year we raced GB4 all over the UK, and this year we're doing a GB3, so it's a series above that on kind of like F3 level.
Wow. So 9 years old, this was never on your radar. You just went out with a friend to have some fun, and this is where you are today.
Exactly, yeah. It was a wild ride. There's a lot of ups and downs in motorsports, but you go along with it, and eventually when you have those ups, you gotta stay level, because when you have the lows, it's very difficult.
Wow. So for children who are automotive enthusiasts, race car enthusiasts, at what age can you even start doing this?
So I started actually pretty late. 9 years old is late to
That's
say.
late?
It's crazy
okay.
to say, yeah. So I driver coach kids right now that started at 3 years old.
Oh,
so
okay.
a lot younger than I was. They started in really small go-karts. I think they really only go about 30 kilometers an hour. But at 3 years old, doing 30 kilometers an hour is really
That's fast, yeah.
Usually the thing that I'm watching is the parents, right? Because the parents are always so like, oh my gosh, please don't crash.
Heart palpitations,
yeah, exactly,
right?
Yeah. But you can get into it at really any age. I've seen people get into it at 15, 16 years old, the age that I'm at now, and go pretty far in motorsports. You really ideally want to start at a younger age, but wherever you are, you just do what you can. Start at that age and work your way up and see where you can get to.
Wow. And you have a younger brother who is also in racing, so he got interested once you started.
Yeah, he started I think about a year after me, just because my parents were at 9 years old. They were scared of me driving. He was 7 at the time, and now he's doing Formula 4 too. So he's on a really good trajectory.
Look at that. Mom and dad are going to have some drivers in the future, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's great. So talk to me about the race club that you're a part of. I know that a lot of kids are interested in getting into this. They can go and pay to go-karting, but if they want to get involved and be part of a club, how do they do that?
You have a team in each year and each step of your career. Obviously in F1, they have Red Bull, Mercedes, which are big teams. And in the lower levels of Formula racing, which I'm in, you you can get onto one of those teams and they'll take you up the ladder to Formula One. But when you're just starting in go-karting, you can run by yourself, which is what we did. I learned to work on the go-kart myself. Even at the biggest races in the world, I was the only one working on my go-kart at the time. Everybody else had their mechanics, their nice big setups. We were just by ourselves under our own tent racing. And that's something that we struggled with, right? Because funding is a really important part of motorsports. And even now, you still struggle with it all the way till you get to Formula One. And once you get on the big teams, that's when you kind of start to be like, okay, we're getting paid now. We're in a decent spot.
So you started racing at 9. Your brother Declan started at 7. So you're both part of the same club, but you're not on the same team because you're in different age brackets?
Exactly, yeah. So with a team, you usually only have 2 drivers per team. So in GB4 last year, we had 2 drivers on the team Graham Brunton Racing. And then next year or this year, we're trying to get into a different team. It's just whether you go up to the team and you start talking to them. My brother was on a team in go-karting. He was there for his entire career. Same thing with myself. And once you go up a level, you have to obviously talk to teams, go reach out to them, make sure you have the dollars to be able to run with them, and then continue that throughout your career, every step you make, whether it's from go-karting in the lower classes to the middle, all the way up to the high classes. And then once you get into Formula cars in Formula 4, 3, 2, and then eventually you get to Formula 1, you have to be going out and reaching out to those people to see if they want you on their team.
Wow. So you're going now, reaching out for sponsorship and funding. You obviously have to put hours in to practice. How do you do it all? I mean, how do you school, how do you life and race at the same time?
Yeah, so just like any other professional sport, you have to be very dedicated to your craft and performing really well. So for me, I do a lot of sim racing constantly at home. I'm probably on the sim 4 hours a day, which I've heard is bad for you because you're constantly sitting looking at screens. But that's what we use to train, because a lot of the tracks and the software I use is laser scanned. So you can have a track that the team or the game, they'll go out to the track, they'll laser scan it, and everything's one-to-one. So the bumps are the same. The different asphalts and concretes are exactly the same as real life. And then the cars as well. They're mimicked to what you're driving. So they have constant people testing them to make sure that they're aligned, to make sure you can test properly. And for me, that's really important because I'll do about 1,000 laps before I even get to the track. And I'm already on pace with what the leaders were doing. And then again, physical, you have to be very physically fit to be in the car. But we don't want to look like bodybuilders. We need to be slim and fit in the car, but also strong. So we build muscle density rather than muscle volume. So muscles that really do something rather than just look good. And then a mental preparation is also something you have to think about because it's quite difficult to stay focused for a half an hour session. There's no on and offs, right? So like in football, you have 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. For us, it's 30 minutes of straight go. Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot on your body.
So, okay, you are training through simulations, you're go. When do you work out? Like, when do you physically work out and go to school?
So usually in the morning time, I'll go to the gym. I go to a school program called Academy for Student Athlete Development. So a lot of the top Canadian athletes will go to the school. And basically in the morning, it's a built-in credit. So you can go work out for an hour and a half, or I think it's 75 minutes. And that's when you usually get your workout in. And that's really crucial for me because I'm going to school and I'm getting to work out because the rest of the day is packed, right? There's always time where you have to train on the simulator. You're constantly doing podcast interviews, going to meet new people. So school is something that's important. Obviously, I'm 16 years old, so I'm only in grade 11, and that's something I have to do well in. So managing your time is also something at 16 years old you have to get really dialed in with.
It takes that hard work, dedication, and discipline, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So you have all of this going on. What do you do for fun? I mean, this sounds super fun, but what do you do for fun when you have, a little bit of off time?
Well, again, like I'm trying to become a professional athlete and I'm not there yet. So for me, that bothers me because I'm not at the top level and I really want to be. I know I'm still young, but I want to be where those top guys are now. And so for me, it's just perfecting my craft. That's really what I do for fun, honestly.
I love that. Okay, so I want to focus on some fun things here. I've got 2 5-year-olds and an 8-year-old. They think that this is super cool that I'm sitting here talking to you. My girls, they love cars. They want to know what your favorite car is. Like when you get your full pop license, what is it that you see yourself driving in?
Well, the first car I'll get is something that will get me from A to B. Not fast, not slow, but something that will get me there.
You need that independence, right?
Exactly,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, if I had to go with something, I really like Mercedes cars.
Yep.
I've done a lot of promotional stuff with them, and I've gotten to drive some of their top performance cars at racetracks too. So those are really nice cars. They're a little bit expensive. I don't really need an expensive car again, something that gets me from A to B. But I do have some pretty favorite cars. It's a Mercedes SLR 300. That car's over 150 million, and I want that car so bad because I think the chrome on the outside and the red interior is something that's really nice, and it always catches my eye.
Look at that. Look at that. And hey, with the way that automotive is just morphing in front of us, who knows what's to come in the future. Another question from your fans is, what song pumps you up before you get in the mood to race?
I am not a music person.
Okay.
I really don't listen to music before I go into race. I'm kind of anything from Black Sabbath really pumps me up just because it's fast going heavy metal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not before races. I'm not really listening to anything.
Interesting. Okay. That my son's going to be really interested in that. He might give you some suggestions.
Okay, I'll take them. Yeah.
That's great. So talk to me about funding, because I know that it's really important. And based on what you talked about, the journey to F1 and kind of being able to relax once you're getting paid. How do you go about funding? What kind of sponsors do you have? What kind of sponsors are you looking for?
Yeah, so really any sponsor that can fit with my brand is who we're looking to partner with, right? So Asus Computers is something that really caught our eye because I'm constantly on the sim. And in motorsports, there's a lot of technology and innovation that is happening, whether it's with anything to do with the car, anything outside of the car. And sim racing is something that's really big. They provided a PC for me, the new one that came out, because we were struggling a little bit before, and that enhanced my performance. And that's what we're really looking for a sponsor that can jump on board and enhance my performance, but as well as enhance their brand that they're coming onto us with.
That's it. And they'll get on the global scale, right? Because you're not just racing here in Canada, you're racing internationally. You talked about the time spent in Europe and, in the United States as well. So talk to me about F1 here in Canada, because I know I'm more familiar with the Pinty series in Canada, but what about F1? What does our audience need to know about the difference between the races from what you're driving and the Pinty series, for example?
So Pinty's is like a NASCAR, so it's more of like a Camaro, which you would see on the road. For me, it's like a fully custom car. It's called a Tatis. So Tatis is the one who makes it. It's a full carbon fiber car. I believe they only weigh about 1,100 pounds, so very, very light. They have lots of wings. They got slick tires as well. And basically, it's more of an open wheel car is what we call it. So it can stick to the ground and go very fast through the corners because it's so light and it has so much aero. Rather than the Pinty's cars that are very heavy, I think they're closer to a ton.
Wow.
And those are a lot harder to get through the corners because they're constantly sliding. And when you're sliding, it's slower than rather sticking to the ground and going fast through the corners.
Okay. You drive at some crazy speeds, right? Have you ever been scared while driving at extreme speeds or, in extreme weather conditions even?
Well, being scared is something as a race car driver you can't really be thinking about, right? Because if you're scared, you're not going to be performing at your best. So you have to be really focused on what you're doing and perfecting it. Because, for example, like it can start raining in the middle of a race. You can't be, I'm scared, I don't want to go too fast here. That's when you lose races, and actually that is when you crash. Because when you're thinking about it, it will happen.
Yep.
There was one time, though, in the U.S., it was at Road America. It was really, really, really bad rain. We were more boat racing rather than car racing because you couldn't see 20 feet in front of you. You know there's a car there 20 feet in front of you. You're more of using your senses at that point. You're driving blind.
Do you have wipers?
No.
Okay.
No wipers. Yeah. So and it's spray, right? Because for example, when you're driving behind a Mack truck on the 401, there's that massive spray, and it's kind of hard to see, and you kind of want to move lanes.
Yep.
For us, everybody's doing that. There's 20 cars in front of you because it's multi-class racing. So you go to one side of the track, you can't see anything. The other side, can't see anything at all. So that's something that's difficult. difficult. And again, you have to drive with your senses. But if you're thinking about, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to really push, that's when something's going to happen.
Wow, that goes back to the mental prep that
Exactly,
you
yeah.
need as part, like not just the body, but the mind as well. Fearless. I love it. I'm now like everything in my head is turning because I want to take my kids out of skating, okay? And I want to bring them into racing. So as a parent, right? Like I've got 3 little kids and, let's say they get into racing. How do you guys work as a family? Because I know your brother's in it and your dad manages you, and I know your mom manages probably everyone. So how do you guys work as a family unit when it comes to racing, when it comes to the club, and when it comes to coaching as well? Like you've got a little brother, right?
Yeah. So for example, me and my brother, he has his own sim. I have my own sim. So we're constantly working together, trying to progress for whether it's his next race or my next race. But we push each other. Like I don't think if Declan was pushing me or pushing himself, I don't think I'd be pushing myself as hard as I am and getting to where I am today. But I do a lot of mechanicking for him. So when we go to his go-karting races, whether it's in the US or in Canada, I'm working on the kart for him. I'm also his data coach, even though sometimes he doesn't want to listen to me because older brother, he thinks he knows what's best. And then even, my parents, they're constantly working with us on managing us, making sure we're going in the right direction and staying focused because, again, we're so busy all the time and staying on a schedule is very hard. So having people that can manage that helps a lot.
I could imagine. What kind of events are you attending to? What races are upcoming that we can, support you at and see you at?
The next one we know of that is going to be a big event is the Markham Indy. That's a really big race for us, right? Because it's a Canadian race. It's really the only one we get to do at home where friends and family get to come. Actually, funny story, last year when we were at the Toronto Indy, it was my grandparents' 60th anniversary. So
wow.
I won the race on that day, so it was great to share that moment with them. Championship-wise, the next race I have is in March. There's preseason testing and preparation before we go into that, which takes place in Europe. And then throughout the year, I believe there's 8 or 9 races in that championship. And then we might do some solo ones. Hopefully we'd get to do the Labor Day sprints at Mosport and the Markham Indy.
Oh, that's super cool. Anything else you wanna share to future racers or anyone who's in the thick of it like you?
Yeah, so a lot of the times when you're watching motorsports, you feel like very kind of disconnected for it. For example, like when I was talking about the Cars movie, it's not something I really thought about getting into. But for me, I really try to make people on board with it, right? So if, for example, if I have fans or people who are looking into it, I want people to feel like they're a part of the journey, not just watching it happen. And that's something really important to me because I'm the people's driver, right? I want to make sure that people are loving the sport and not just being there for it. Right, that's something very important and close to my heart.
Love that. Love that. Now, if anyone wants to meet you, to come out to a race, I know that you're going to be in Europe in March, but I know the Canadian International Auto Show is coming up. Are you going to be there signing autographs?
I will be at the auto show.
Anyone who does want to come out and meet Mayer and team, of course, they can come and meet you. That's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I love signing autographs and meeting new people. So come on out to the auto show and come and meet me.
You're bringing racing to, the global stage, but you're also bringing it home to Canada, which is amazing because you represent what it is to be Canadian, right? You're diverse. You are Trinidadian and Italian mixed, but born here in Canada,
Exactly,
right? So
yeah.
you basically are this cultural mosaic in yourself that
Yeah.
represents Canada. I love it.
I get to eat a lot of food, but I'm still skinny, so
Look at that.
I'm happy with that.
You get pizza and roti.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm sure you're going to have a bunch of fans try to reach out to you after this, which is fantastic. So if anyone wants to receive your, funding packages or ad packages, etc., they can email marketing at
MayerDeonarine.com.
Okay, great.
And then if you want to get in contact with me on any social media, it's just Mayer Deonarine. On Instagram, on Twitch, TikTok, it's all the same. And then if you want to check out my website, it's MayerDeonarine.com.
Well, Mayer, thank you so much for coming on and for representing Canada on the global scale. I have no doubt that, you will reach those goals. You're doing amazing things and, you're making Canada proud. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.